Wife flirting with strangers online. Did I go too far to find out more? My 38 meters wife, 38F, of 14 years has her nose buried in her phone constantly. As she's self-employed, I'd come to accept this as necessary, but on 3 occasions in the past 18 meters I've stumbled upon inappropriate flirting with strangers on Insta via a shared device. Each time she's been shifty and in denial. Trust has been eroded very badly and I reluctantly took to checking up on said device. She's now routinely deleting chats and clearing notifications, which we haven't discussed. Her content online seems to court male attention, lots of selfies and sometimes suggestive posts. I try not to dictate, it's her life etc, but every now and again I burst and we argue. She apologizes. Soon we're right back where we were. But lack of trust is like poison and I had a hunch the issue hadn't gone away. So I decided to set up a generic fake Insta account purporting to be a fictional local male and started subtly making contact in a semi-sleazy way that most happily married women would simply ignore. She fairly quickly made contact with mildly flirty messages on the back of my fake interest and after a while, to my horror, suggested the chat move to WhatsApp, obviously avoiding the shared device Insta problem. I'm feeling sick by this point as, having set up a fake WhatsApp profile too, I know, I'm in deep. She spends an entire day, even when in my company and even when in bed beside me, messaging semi-sleazy fake mail and courting further advances. I feel some guilt for the lengths I've gone to see what is happening, and I had no plan for what I would do if my suspicions were confirmed. We have children and have recently moved to a new city together, which was meant to be more than enough excitement for 1 year. TL, drive. I have no idea what to do next. Will she agree to meet with fake sleaze if I push? Did I go too far to find out the truth? Is it just a harmless ego boost that won't go further? Or is my marriage essentially over? Update, thank you for all comments, mostly helpful. Confronted her this afternoon. She lied and then, faced with evidence, I didn't reveal the fake AC scenario. She broke down. Commenters were right, I'd seen enough, further monitoring would only have brought more turmoil. I don't have the will for counseling, this has been an awful betrayal and I can only cringe at the actions I didn't see. It's over. Kids are priority now. Wish me luck. Best wishes to all. Update 2. Hard to write. But yes, it was physical. Very physical. With multiple men. Over a sustained period of time and as recently as 2 weeks ago. She tells me it is over. That she wasn't sure if she wanted me but now she is sure. It was mostly just sex but with the most recent affair there were feelings. It has been a tortuous few days and there is I know worse to come. Thank you for your comments. Divorce is inevitable now but she is currently refusing to accept. Telling me she has finally told me everything and how it will never happen again, how she has been depressed and needs professional help. Predictable I suppose. Sadly, disastrously, I can never ever trust her again. There can be no going back. Peas. I was at 5 AM this morning confronting the current squeeze. A married man with a child. So, horrifically, unintentionally, there are 2 houses in ruins today. A very unhappy ending indeed. I don't think it matters how far she'll go at this point, the more important thing is that you don't trust her to not go too far, and probably for very good reason. Is your goal to restore trust and go back to normal? Because I don't think your wife is on the same page with that goal, and I think your mistrust is probably very valid. Talk to her about it and maybe suggest couples therapy, but figuring out what your goals are is probably a better place to focus now instead of continuing down this path of trying to catch her in the act. You've seen enough now. Save yourself the pain you know you're about to cause yourself, work on solutions, even if that means extraction. I don't think you went too far. She was clearly concealing the truth from you, so I'm not sure you would have found out otherwise. You need to decide what you want. To split? Try counseling, figure out what you are willing to do, then approach her about it. She may try to turn the tables on you based on your fake account. However, that does not negate her conduct. I can't say whether or not it is merely an ego boost, but she knows how you feel about it yet continues to inappropriately flirt with other men, so I wouldn't call it harmless at this point. Underscore if you like piña coladas ... Sorry, op, I couldn't resist. Anyway, to the point, I think you should go talk to an individual therapist, who can help you figure out if you want to take this to couples counseling or divorce. I'm so sorry. Good luck. I actually did this exact thing to catch my ex-husband after many months of suspicion that he was cheating. I made a fake account on a dating site. He started talking to me. After a week or so he asked me to meet him at a place he normally went and hung out at. I pull into the parking lot, since I hung out there with him a lot too, and he immediately ran inside the building and started texting my fake profile saying he can't meet up. His kid is sick and he has to leave. Fake account was like, oh man, I'm around the corner, can I just see you real quick? Went back and forth for a couple minutes while he stood in line inside the coffee shop until I said knew you would change your mind once your wife got here. He then locked himself in the bathroom and I left and packed his shit and had it waiting for him outside. OBTW, this was all on my birthday 6 years ago. Best decision I ever made and don't regret any of it. If you truly want to know, I would do it. But know that you will have to make a decision if you do find out she is willing to meet up. I'm sorry you're going through this. I know how it feels and I wouldn't want anyone to feel that way. This is not harmless. She is seeking male attention online and has no issue talking to these men. It's one thing to post hot selfies online, no issues there, but when she starts responding to random men sliding into her DMs, that's shady as hell, and personally it would be a deal breaker for me. I've confronted her and she lied. Sure, maybe what you did isn't the most ethical, but who gives a shit? She's at the very least emotionally cheating on you. Tell her you know she's been talking to random men on the internet and you're not comfortable with this. Depending on how she handles the conversation, could be how you can't tell your marriage is over. If she seems genuinely upset and sorry and promises to end her online conversations, then maybe you can work on this. If she's combative and lies and just wants to continue to message men on the internet, then you know what to do. I'm sorry this is happening to you, Op. I know you love your wife, but keep your head on straight. Don't sacrifice your peace and happiness to stay with someone who does not respect you or your marriage. Boyfriend has stopped being romantic completely. So, my boyfriend M18 has stopped being romantic to me, F18, completely. We got together sometime in early July, but we had started hanging out in May. We hit it off really well and soon we started hanging out every day. It was really nice, as I haven't been in many relationships, not to mention good ones. He was very sweet, complimented me without being prompted or asked, and never talked to me like I was stupid, which is really important to me. It was like he was genuinely interested in me. My family liked him and it felt like we both genuinely liked each other. The issue of college comes in. As this was during the summer, we could hang out all the time, but we both knew he'd be leaving for school. While this was sad, it was only a few-hour drive back and forth, and it was a drive that I was willing to make to see him, and one he seemed fine in making, too. I knew things would change, as he would be busy, and I was willing to accept that. It would be unfair of me to demand his attention all the time. Since leaving for school, I began to see things change. They were the expected things. He was stressed out more and busy and overall not as romantic, which was fine. I expected that and knew there would be days or even weeks where he'd be distant. He still made the effort to talk, which I always appreciated because it let me know he was important. He complimented me when I sent him photos and we still flirted back and forth. I still complimented him and let him knew I missed him and was thinking of him. I could see a slight decline in him wanting to flirt and such, so I backed off as to not be overwhelming for him. He caught COVID from school and had to come back home. Obviously we couldn't see each other, as I didn't have a way to quarantine away from family in case he was still contagious. It was probably a few weeks into the school year. It sucked, but I thought we could always see each other another weekend. That hasn't happened. It's been about 2 months and he's completely stopped acting like we're dating. He's been in town a few times and hasn't seen me. I accepted this as him being busy, but it's a little disheartening when I offer to take off work to go up and see him and he ignores my attempts and nothing ever goes through. I still compliment him. I listen to him talk about his hobbies and ask questions about them since I know that's important to him, and he's been stressed out with school, so I try to support him and let him know I'm here for him if he needs anything. But he doesn't compliment me anymore. I've started working out, and while I was already skinny and physically ideal by most standards, I didn't feel attractive before. He's made no supportive comments about it, or comments about it at all, and when I mentioned my workout routine, he says I should push myself more / when I send him photos of myself or outfits he just goes nice and that's it. Can only think of one time he actually complimented me and it made my whole day better because I hadn't heard him say anything good about me like that in a long time. I had to hear him go on a rant about how the field of school I wanted to go into sucked and how most people don't make it. He says he's too busy to be involved in things important to me when I try to talk about it. I sort of had a bad day and was venting, which I feel bad about doing now as I didn't want to burden him with my problems when he has his own. But what really alarmed me was how he said you could just kill yourself. I understand the context and what he was trying to say. As I said, I have no control over things in my life like when I live or die. But as someone who has tried to kill themselves, it felt like a really jarring thing to say. I'm not sure what I should do. I don't know how to bring up his 180 in behavior as I don't want to make a big deal if it's just the fact he doesn't have the energy to be romantic. But it's been affecting me negatively as it really feels like he's not interested at all. I've studied on different love languages to see if maybe ours are just different and have tried expressing my affection different, but I still see no change and it makes me feel kind of helpless. Does anyone have any advice on how I can bring this up to him, or if I'm just being too needy and should just wait it out? Sorry for the long read, this was my first post. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend has stopped being romantic or affectionate. I'm worried I'm just being needy or missing his signals, and I'm wondering if I should ask him about it or if I should just wait it out until things get easier for him at school. If he is coming into town and not seeing you, he isn't your boyfriend. Personally, I'd just ignore him and let him come to you. If he comes, he's yours. If he doesn't, he never was. Focus on your working out and hobbies. Don't text him. Let him put in the effort. You don't need to be in a one-sided relationship. The fact that he isn't meeting your needs is a good enough reason to leave. It doesn't really matter if he's stressed or ghosting you or if he has a new girlfriend. It's clear that he's not a good boyfriend to you, if he's still your boyfriend at all. You have agency here. Use it. The "you could just kill yourself" comment is a little disheartening. To me, it seems like he is losing interest, if he hasn't lost it completely already, and he is pushing you farther and farther away until one day you're just going to feel like strangers. A relationship is not going to work if there isn't consistent effort coming from both sides, despite how busy each side may be. You deserve someone who genuinely cares about you and your passions/dreams, no matter how busy they are with their own life. If he cared, he would. I think you could stand to find someone who never makes you feel like a burden. You deserve it. You could just kill yourself. Oh, fuck this guy. Yeet him into the sun, and if he knows about your past attempt and said this shitty thing anyway, yeet with _extreme prejudice . Edit, and the fact that he said this regarding your talking about your problems _ after he had ranted about his problems. Yeet double time. Sis, drop him, throw the whole man far far away. You deserve so much better. Best friend, 35F, complains about her selfish husband to me, 28F. Leaving me angry each time. Hi all, first time posting, so apologies if the format is wrong. My dearest friend, 35F, has been in what I personally feel is an abusive relationship for 2 years. She will tell me stories of how he mistreats her, and when I am in their company I can see the way that he neglects her and their child. Over time, I have developed nothing but negative emotions for my best friend's husband, to the point that I feel physically angry each time she vents to me. As I feel like she is not standing up for herself in the relationship, I get quite riled up emotionally each time she tells me situations where I feel she has clearly been taken advantage of. She herself sees this, but as they have a young child she feels that staying in the relationship is the better option. But she has also said that she has tried many times to speak to him about changing his behavior, but is at the point where she finds discussing the matter tiresome and pointless and would just rather put up with it. She will continually share her negative experiences with me, but also has the expectation that I not react negatively, as for her that reinforces the fact that she married the wrong man. I also don't have any intention of adding insult to injury, but I am finding it increasingly difficult to keep my feelings to myself. I once tried to address the matter with her in asking if she could try and leave the husband out of discussions. She mentioned that I was the only person I could vent to and didn't want to have to censor our chats. I feel that she would withdraw if I put any more pressure on her. I want her to have a safe place to talk, but it's also really affecting me badly, as each time it leaves my blood boiling to know my dearest friend is being mistreated, and sometimes I let it slip. Really looking to this wise community for some advice. Thanks in advance, smile. Too long didn't read. Best friend tells me negative issues with her husband, often leaving me quite angry. She wants me to listen without passing any judgment. Want to be supportive but need some advice on how to better handle the situation. You need to be honest about how these stories make you feel. Listen, you know I love you and your child so much, but the way your husband treats you is abusive. And being raised around this abuse will damage your child's views of how a healthy relationship should look and how women should be treated. It is extremely upsetting to listen to story after story of how this man is hurting you and damaging your child. I love you and want you to be happy, but that is not possible while you continue to be in this relationship. More stories of his abuse towards you will not change my mind on this. I am here for you and will help support you in any way I can when you decide to leave. But until then I must insist for my own mental health that you no longer discuss this topic with me. And then stick to it. If she brings it up again, you can say you know how I feel about this. Please change the topic. She needs to know you love her and are there for her, but she is letting her husband's abuse poison her friendship with you. Eventually she will see that she needs to leave. I mean, she doesn't want to censor her chats to you but wants you to censor your reaction, and that's not fair. Tell her that you're a person with your own opinions, and that if she wants a judgment-safe person to speak with, she needs a journal or a therapist. It's not fair for her to pour all of her negative emotions into you and then for her to just expect you to not react negatively or want her to make a change. Thanks guys, I did kind of have to step back and reassess when I realized it was her expectation that I not react. But I did want to get a second opinion as I wasn't sure if I was actually the one overstepping. She wants a free therapist. She wants to deny that she married the wrong man and wants you to play along with this fantasy. Read why does he do that, which you can Google a free version of. At the end there is info on how to help. Even if he is not actively hitting her, which is where the main research comes from, it gives valuable insight into the mindset of an abuser. And while the how to help section is slim, it is there. You're not her emotional dumping ground, but she wants you to be. She doesn't want to have a conversation with you, she wants to talk at you. It's my opinion that she's getting stuff from you that she isn't getting in her relationship: patience, understanding, sympathy, so you may actually be prolonging the abusive marriage by propping her up.